I'm Bryan Robinson, and the book is #chill, turn off your job and turn on your life. And your job can be whatever you spend your time most on. For some of us, it's working in the workplace. For some people, it's being a student. For others, it's being a retiree. And for others, it's a stay-at-home mom or dad. Whatever your job is, it's about finding the balance and bringing the being to balance out the doing. So many of us are up to our eyeballs in doing and hurrying and rushing that we don't have time to be in the present moment. And we're on autopilot and we're driving ourselves like we might drive one of our cars, except that if we drove our cars the way we drive ourselves, we would crash and burn. So we need more breaks. And #chill is a sweet spot. It's a place we go inside to respond to life in a different way instead of reacting.
Book Lovers Unite. I'm Demethius Jackson, and you're listening to the Chapter 1 podcast. The greatest stories ever written all begin with Chapter 1. In each episode, our guest authors will share their first chapters with you. On today's episode, I'm speaking to a man who I probably should hire to be my life coach. Bryan Robinson has returned to the Chapter 1 podcast to share his new book entitled #chill. Yes, he's telling you to chill out. And believe you me, I know it's hard. But Bryan's going to show us how to do it and how to introduce mindfulness and peace into our lives. So here we go. Bryan Robinson, #chill starts right now.
Slow down with meditation. Mindfulness meditation quiets the mind. It does what the medicine field once relied on drugs to do. Slows down heart rate and brainwave patterns and boosts the immune system. The following present moment meditation can help you pay closer attention to the needs of your body, mind, and spirit. Visualize yourself going through your day moment to moment at a slower pace. Start with awakening. Take yourself through your daily routine while slowing down. See yourself showering, eating, and driving slower, staying in the now, and doing one task at a time. See the events of the day as they unfold. Release any urges to hurry. Notice how you feel as you chill in the present. As you pay close attention to your body, notice what it needs that it hasn't been getting. What does your mind need? Visualize yourself attending to those needs one by one. And you can repeat this exercise as often as needed.
Welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you.
Last time we had you on, we spoke about daily writing resilience, and now you're telling us to chill.
That's right. Well, I've written before about workaholism and overdoing it. Some of it from my own personal experience. And I realized working with so many patients that people who are not workaholics don't know how to relax anymore. I have people who actually tell me, I don't know how to relax. And then I heard Joy Behar on The View say, I don't like to relax. It stresses me out. People have lost touch with the whole idea of slowing down and relaxing. So I wanted to bring a lot of these principles, not just to workaholics, but to everybody who is having trouble just being in the present moment. And it's not as easy as it sounds, because so many of us are either focused in the future, we're worried about something or trying to fix a problem before it happens, or we're stuck in the past regretting and sad about what has already transpired. So #chill is a place we go inside. It's a sweet spot where we slow down. And if we just can do that for 5 minutes a day, basically what it does, it puts on the brakes. And this book, #chill, is about braking. Now, that's not just watching the Super Bowl, kicking back and with a beer, although that's a great thing to do, or lying by the pool. We'd call that chilling.
Mm-hmm.
But #chill requires more.
Hmm.
It's about finding that place so that when life throws us the curveballs that it will, every one of us, everybody listening, me and you included, will have many challenges and obstacles. That's what life is. The key is, instead of reacting, learning to act, to stay in our center, to stay in chill, is what I call it.
And I think this actually goes hand in hand with your previous book, Writing
Yes,
Resilience,
it
be-
does.
because in order to be resilient, you have to allow yourself some space. Or in other words, you have to allow yourself to chill.
Yeah, you got to be able to roll with life. I
Yeah.
say in the book, ask not how is life treating you, ask how you are treating life. That's the key in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
most of us don't stop to think about that. We just react. And we all have the power. There is a space between the thing that sets us off and our reaction to it. There's a space in there, but most of us don't know the space is there because we're so used to just running over it. But as you start to practice this, you start to realize, hey, there is a space and I can make a choice right there. And when you make that choice of how you want to respond, you are empowered, you're free. That's what freedom is being free in your own skin to choose how you want to respond. And it's a powerful, great feeling.
Mm-hmm. And I'm really glad that you also clarified what you meant by chill or hashtag chill, because you aren't talking about Netflix and chill or video games and chill.
Right.
You're
No,
actually referring to something more meaningful, more deeper.
that's right. Something that invests in us, that helps us grow. I mean, it's perfectly fine. And nobody likes to watch Netflix or the Super Bowl than me. But that doesn't, and that's a good thing to do because it does calm you down, takes your mind off your worries, but it doesn't invest in my ability to do that the next time. It takes me away from it. Hashtag chill gives you skills so that you can grow from the challenges and the obstacles. And it allows you to scale the wall. It allows you to respond to a challenge in a way that's different. One of the micro chillers that I use is meditation. And when I suggest people meditate, they throw their hands up and say, no, I can't add one more thing to my list. I'm overloaded as it is. Because what they hear is sitting lotus style on the floor, playing music, burning incense for 20 minutes. And that's not what it is at all. It's very simple. I suggest 5 minutes a day where you sit anywhere in a chair. I sit in a chair. And what that does, it turns off the gas, puts on the brakes for 5 minutes, and you are teaching your mind that I don't have to be going 90 miles an hour changing tires. And it puts you in charge of your mind instead of your mind pulling you around by the nose. And that's what autopilot is. It's when we're not fully present in the moment and we're not taking charge of our lives. So these micro chillers help you get into that place so you're driving the car and you're using both the gas and the brakes. And so what I do with meditation is I focus on my breath, in through my nose, out through my mouth, and then my mind will wander. That's where people give up. Your mind is supposed to wander. All you do is bring it gently back, your attention back to your breath, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and your mind is going to wander again. That's going to happen. That's what meditation is. The key is don't get frustrated. Don't give up. Just keep bringing your mind back to your breath. After you do this a while, you start to notice a shift. Now, when I go to the gym, when I first started working with my personal trainer, I could not bench press my weight. Now I can bench press more than my weight. I didn't do it in the first hour. I didn't do it in the first 15 minutes. But after a while, you start to notice your muscles are developing, that you can lift more weights. And with meditation, it's the same thing. You start to notice you're more focused. And then you start to notice later in the day, something happens and you're not as reactive. That's because your mind is learning to turn on what we call the parasympathetic nervous system, or the rest and digest response. That's the connection. And a lot of people don't understand what's the connection in me taking 5 minutes and doing this and being better at life, because it builds over time, just like when you go to the gym and you start to notice it. It's very subtle at first, but it is powerful. And the research shows this. That's not just my opinion.
That's very important. And in fact, I've even heard that similar technique is bringing stillness or mindfulness into your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Actually, I do something similar. So, a meditation that I do is I try to clear my mind of all thoughts. And of course, that's impossible. But
It is
it's the
possible.
act of trying to slow your mind down just enough for you to get into that space in between your thoughts.
It's a paradox because when you try to clear your mind, it makes it harder to do it. It's like someone telling you, don't think of a pink elephant. Well, of course you're going to think of a pink elephant.
You-
It's that same thing. But what I find is when I meditate and focus on my breath, the outcome or the byproduct is that my mind is clearer. So it automatically happens. You can focus on anything. Meditation is focus. That's all it is.
Mhm.
And here's another exercise folks can do is just take 3 minutes or even 1 minute and just wherever you are, listen to every sound you can identify. You might hear traffic outside. You might hear somebody talking in another room. You might hear a TV or a radio. You might hear a plane go over. You might hear your gurgling stomach. And all you do is just notice as many different sounds as you can. And after 1 or 2 minutes, look inside and notice how you feel. You notice you're calmer, your heart rate is slowed down, your muscles are a little looser. Why? Because you brought your nervous system into being, into this moment. And the more episodes of that you have, the more it starts to balance or offset the stress that you're under.
So, are the micro chillers, are they meant to be daily devotionals, or are they something that you can come to just whenever you're feeling the urge to?
Well, the way the book is organized, there are 12 chapters, and each chapter is organized by month,
Mhm.
and each month has a theme. For example, depending on what that month is, April literally came from the word apri, which means to open, and it's the time of year in the northern hemisphere when baby birds hatch, flowers bloom, and so that chapter is called Open Awareness. And the chapter talks about the exercise I just mentioned. The open awareness is when we pay attention to what's going on right now. And it's fascinating how it changes your outlook on life. After a while, it starts to become more automatic that you're more aware of what's going on inside you and around you. So that's one example. And then there are chillers at the end. There are 366 chillers, one for each day of the year, and they're just one-liners. But in each month, there are what I call micro chillers, and one is called Connect with Your Tall Comings.
Hmm.
Now, most people don't know what tall comings are because there's no such word. I made it up. We all know about our shortcomings, and if you think about your tall comings, then it'll balance out your shortcomings, so you start to feel better inside. What are your attributes? What are your character assets? What are the things that you're good at and talents and your creative aspects? So it brings balance to the way you think about yourself. And another example is make a to-be list alongside your to-do list.
Mm.
And when I ask people to do that, they go blank because we don't even think that way. We
Right.
think about what we have to get done. So what this book does, it brings balance to the way you think about yourself, your life, and what life's bringing to you. So if you think about your to-be list and have a list, then it offsets the stress. One of the things on my to-be list is meditating 5 minutes a day. That's just one thing. But there are other things like sit and watch the sunset. I live in a place where I see sunset over the mountains here in Asheville, North Carolina, and it's something I love to do. And I'm just in that moment.
So in the book, you do talk about the difference between being driven and being drawn. How can you tell which one you are?
Well, there was a time in my life when I was so driven, the thought of spending a weekend without knowing what was going to happen or having a project to do was terrifying, literally. And that's what workaholism is. That's when we use our work or our doing to assuage the anxiety inside of us. And we don't even realize it. It's like an alcoholic using booze to calm down. That's being driven, that I have to hurry, I have to rush, I have to meet this deadline that someone has given me. I have to get approval from people outside of me. Or I've got this voice in my head that says, I must, I have to. We call that masturbation, that I must, I have to, I should. We don't even realize we're doing it. We're so on autopilot. Many of us don't step back and say, wait a minute, listen how I'm talking to myself. So when I change that language and I say, I could, or I will, or I choose to, or I plan to, or I want to, you feel a whole different array of feelings on the inside. You feel more powerful, you feel less oppressed, you feel calmer. So part of it is just listening to paying attention to how we talk to ourselves on the inside, take off that pressure so that as we're moving through something, we do it without stress. And the outcome, and here's the research, we're more productive, first of all. The outcome is higher quality. We live longer, we're healthier, and we're happier.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I'm driven, it's survival living. It's coming from fear that I'm not going to get it done or it's not going to be good enough. When I'm drawn, I'm coming from confidence. I'm willing to stick my neck out and take creative risks. I'm willing to speak up. I'm clearer about who I am and what my capacities are. My creativity is more available to me because I'm not stressed out and anxious and worried. So drawn comes from inside out. Driven comes from outside in.
Mm. And that makes a lot of sense. And I was wondering how those other C words that you mentioned, confidence, courage, creativity, how they related to chilling, because, those are active traits and chilling is commonly viewed as passive or even dormant.
You're right. That's a great question. Chilling is considered, the way we generally think about it, is we're just hanging out, right, by the pool or just watching the grass grow. But the way I talk about chill is it's active. I'm more mindful of what's going on around me and what's going on inside. I put myself in the present moment. Or one of the things that I like to do is sometimes when I'm driving to work, I'll pretend I've never been in this city before. It's the first time I've ever been here. And when I do that, and it's a fun thing to do, when you do it, you start to notice things you've never seen before.
Mm.
It puts you in the present moment. Now, that's active, but what happens while you're doing these exercises is your heart rate slows down, your breathing slows down, your muscles loosen, and you start to feel calmer. And as you're calmer, it triggers your clarity. You become more curious. Then that triggers your confidence. You have this, it's almost like a high of feeling really good about yourself. You feel a oneness. Some people talk about a oneness. You have compassion for people instead of judgment. You feel more connected to yourself and to other people. These are just things that start to automatically happen. You realize that you have more of these C words in your life.
Right. And I'm glad that you mentioned the micro chillers and the brief meditations, because it's so hard to break away from autopilot because we're just stuck in our daily routines, our responsibilities, our obligations, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But like you said, everyone has 5 minutes. Everyone has the time to chill if they allow themselves.
I catch myself sometimes in the shower thinking about what is the next thing that I need to do. The beauty in that is, okay, I'm aware, I'm mindful of what's happening. So I will say, hold on. Okay, I'm going to be in the shower right now. I'm not going to think about what I have to do today. That's going to take care of itself. I want to feel the water. I want to smell the shampoo. I want to be here right now. And that's a little exercise people can do too, is just be in the moment. And again, a lot of folks say, well, what the heck does that have to do with me being better at work or a more compassionate person? Everything. Even if you don't see the connection, you will see it once you start to practice it. So the more we have those mindful moments, like being in the shower instead of hurrying to get out, preparing food, being with the preparation instead of hurrying up to get it on the table, then everything shifts. We start to experience and see life differently. We actually see it instead of zipping by it.
Mm-hmm. So here's a question for you. Once we finally introduce that space into our lives, How do we prevent ourselves from regressing back into the mindset we had before?
Well, one of the things that's important to know is that we're human. Mother Nature wired us to be reactive because Mother Nature wants us to survive. So it's in our DNA to be reactive, to survive. That's all Mother Nature cares about. But what she says is, if you want to be happy, that's up to you. I just want you to survive and to perpetuate the species. Okay, if you want to live a survival life, that's fine. That's based on fear and worry and looking around and hypervigilance. If you want to be happy, it's about taking it to the next level and trying to utilize some of these tools. Now, what's going to happen, and I say this to everybody, if my goal for the new year has been to try to forgive everybody who gets in my way or every situation that gets in my way. Now, the truth is, a lot of people are going to get in my way. I'm going to get in a lot of people's way. A lot of situations are not going to work out the way I want to. That's a reality. So, what I'm trying to do is to accept it if it's something I can't control. So, if my plane is delayed, I can throw a temper tantrum, or I can say, okay, I'm going to work on chilling right now. I'm going to be in this moment. I'm going to stay calm. I'm going to meditate for a few minutes, or I can throw a fit. Now, if I throw a fit, what's going to happen is it's not going to fix anything. It's going to make me feel miserable. I'm going to feel probably cortisol and the adrenaline that gets the cocktail that gets shot into your bloodstream. It's going to clog your arteries. Your immune system's going to dive. It's going to hurt your memory because there's a biochemical reaction happening when you're blowing your top. So you have a choice. Do I want to accept this and stay calm, stay on the launch pad, or do I want to go to the moon?
So, how do you feel about anger? Do you feel that it's a negative emotion that we should continually avoid or that we should always avoid? Or is it something that can be useful as well?
I don't think anything we feel is bad. Anger is a natural response to some things. Emotions just are. That's like saying, is water good or bad? Well, it can drown us, but we have to have it to live. Is fire good or bad? Well, it can burn down your house and burn you up, but you have to have it to stay warm. So anger just is. It's not good or bad. It just is. And when we can stop judging or labeling our emotions, we're going to feel a lot better inside. And when we can do that with other people, we're going to have better relationships too. But here's the point, and I think this is really what you're probably getting at. What I do with my anger is what matters. What I do with it is what matters. And I'm responsible for my anger. It's not okay for me to hurt someone or to yell at someone or to maim someone. So that's the key, is what I speak for it instead of from it. I'll give you an example. About a year ago, coming back from Atlanta, and I live here in Asheville, I was getting off near my home on the expressway. And I happened to look over, and there had been a woman in a little red car in front of me, and she flips me the bird and gives me this ugly look. And I thought, what in the world was that about? I had no idea why she did that. But what I noticed is on the inside, I felt my anger coming, and he was going to take over, and he wanted me to do the same gesture to her. But when you're mindful and you watch these emotions, you're in charge of your emotions, or you can be. So I stopped. I said, whoa, no, I know you're angry, and it's okay to be angry, but that's not who I want to be in the world. I'm not you. You're not me. You're a part of me. I get to decide how I want to respond to life. Now, I'm not always able to do that, but it was a powerful, incredibly powerful feeling to be able to get that anger to relax. And I went on about and had a wonderful day. That's all I cared about in that moment.
Yeah, that's something that I'm working on as well, especially now that I'm older. I'm a couple of years away from 40. And I rarely ever get angry. I mean, of course, things I see on TV, upset me, especially the news nowadays.
Yeah.
But in my personal life, in my daily interactions with people, I don't usually get angry. It's very rare. But when I do, I usually feel so terrible about it. And it's actually become a personal hang up of mine that I haven't been able to deal with.
It does, if you're a conscious person like you and you have certain intentions of how you want to be, and then you relapse or you make a mistake, it's hard. But that's when we have to have self-compassion. That's when we have to say, okay, I'm human. I regret I did that, but I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to try to do better next time. I'm going to get back in the saddle. What a lot of us do is we beat ourselves up. Let's give other people a break. Let's give ourselves a break. And when we can do that, then we'll be able to do it with other people as well.
Absolutely. So what's next for you? Are you finally going to find some time to chill yourself, or are you working on another project?
I'm always working on a project, but I'm not, as I mentioned before, that I don't feel pressured. I'm coming from more of a heart place instead of a head place. So yeah, I have a number of projects. In fact, one of the things I do is I write murder mysteries. I'm a psychotherapist too, and I tease people and say I help by day and kill by night. And, so again, balance, right?
Right.
So I have a novel that will come out next year called "She'll Be Killing Around the Mountain," and so I'm doing those kinds of things and showing up at bookstores here and there, and I still have my private practice part-time during the week. So I have a full life, and I'll tell you, I'm not a spring chicken anymore, but I am happier than I've ever been in my life because I practice these techniques. And I wanted to mention that on my website, I have a test people can take. If you go on the homepage, it's www.bryanrobinson.com, and it's Bryan. You can click on how chill are you. Just take the test. It'll give you an automatic electronic score. And there are resources on the website that you can check out. You can also order the book on the website.
Okay, great. And I will link to that as well. So, okay, is there anything else that you wanted to discuss?
Well, I think the final thing I would say is life is not personal. And you learn this more and more as you kind of meditate or contemplate that idea. It really isn't. It can feel personal. And when it feels personal, we're more apt to react. It just is. And if we can ask when life throws us a challenge or a curveball or an obstacle, if we can take a breath, step back and say, okay, what am I going to do with this? Instead of just react, that's where our power comes from. We have a choice between what life shows us or gives us and our reaction. There's a space. And if you can start to look for that space, take a breath, and then make a choice. And if you want to react, fine. At least you're choosing it. Don't let it choose you. You get to create your experience of life. We're in charge. You have to practice that and start thinking that way. And it starts to feel healthier and more natural. So it's how you're treating what shows up. That's the key. That's where your power comes from. And you have a choice.
All right. Well, it is always wonderful talking with you.
Well, thanks.
So I know you mentioned it before, but one more time, can we get that website address?
Sure. The website is www.bryanrobinson.com, and that's Bryan Robinson.com. And you can go on the website and find a lot of other resources. You can order the book. You can take the test, How Chill Are You? It will give you an automatic score. It also contains my emails and my social media information. You can join me on Facebook and Twitter. And the blogs I write for Psychology Day are there, all free. And so I would welcome any feedback anybody wants to give me regarding the book.
And with that, we're going to wrap up another episode. Thanks again to Bryan Robinson. Always a pleasure having him on the show. Always great to talk with him. And I hope everyone was able to gain something from that conversation. If you have any questions or comments for him or for me, or you know an author who you think would be a good fit for the show, let me know. Connect with me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or send an email to info@ch1podcast.com. Check out our website at ch1podcast.com, where there you can listen to previous episodes and hopefully find your next favorite author. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Overcast, wherever podcasts can be downloaded. Leave us a 5-star review, but most importantly, tell everyone you know about the show, because that is how we grow. And if you are so inclined, you can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com and searching for CH1 Podcast. Okay, I think that's it for me. Once again, you all stay awesome. Till next time.